Hey, this is Randy at Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $5,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense life insurance, or funeral funds for a 58-year-old female. Now, first thing I recommend is going directly to our website at funeralfunds.com. We've got these quoters on just about every page. Select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, and then put your birthday in and fill in the rest of the info. Click Get Quotes Now, and that will take you to a page where you're going to see all the best insurance companies in your state with all the lowest rates. And what that will do is that will help you avoid those plans that you see advertised on TV and magazines that have those super low teaser rates. And then when you call them up, it's for almost no coverage at all, and then they try to upsell you. We can help you avoid that. It also will help you avoid those plans with 2-year waiting periods that can be up to 200% more expensive than first day coverage. Now, first thing you should ask yourself as a 58-year-old female looking for $5,000 worth of coverage is that $5,000 going to be enough for your final expense needs? Now, typically, that would be either cremation or burial plans. So with a cremation, the average cost of a cremation right now in the United States is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you come home in a cardboard box or an urn. Now, if you're going to have a ceremony in addition to the cremation, like a celebration of life ceremony or remembrance ceremony, that's typically going to be in the $3,500 to $4,500 range. So for insurance purposes, for that cremation where you're going to come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically help folks with anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, you're probably saying, well, $5,000, that's different than the $2,000 cost of the burial, or the cremation, I should say. Well, yeah, that's right, but you're 58 years old, and you're probably hoping you make it to 68, maybe even 78, maybe 88 even. And we know that the price of anything goes up over time due to inflation, including cremation. So what we want to do is we just want to build in a little bit extra coverage to make sure that if you are blessed with a long life, that your plan's still going to cover those costs in the future. Now, if for some reason you die sooner than expected in the next couple of years, yeah, there's extra money available in the policy, not a ton, but some to pay maybe some final bills or medical bills or other final expenses or something like that. So you get the dual benefit, a little bit more money up front, and then also it inflation proofs the plan. Now, if you're going to have that cremation with the ceremony, we would typically help people with $7,000 to probably $10,000. Just keep in mind, if your budget's tight, you can always start a little bit lower, and we can always help you add more coverage later. Now, if you're going to get buried, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. So if you walk into a funeral home with a $10,000 check, 9 times out of 10, they're going to take care of it right there on the spot for you. But it's just hard to imagine that any funeral home would, tell you no and let you walk out the door and walk down the street to their competitor and just give them the money. But just understand, at $10,000, that's not going to be a very fancy funeral. So just keep that in mind. So if our 58-year-old female is looking for a $5,000 policy, obviously that's not going to be enough for a burial. That would definitely work for a cremation. But what some people would do is maybe they have a policy that they bought in the past, and maybe it was $5,000 or $7,000 or $10,000, and it was enough back then. And now that they've been blessed to live a long time, things have gone up in price, and now they can just add another amount of coverage, and like $5,000 would be appropriate in any one of those situations. So on average, though, for burial, we're helping people with typically in the 58-year-old area, probably somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000, sometimes $20,000, just depending on your financial resources. But one thing we don't recommend with burial or cremation is going overboard on this insurance. And, we'll hear from families and they say, well, we want to get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of coverage, and, we want to leave money behind for the children. And the only issue we have with that is just most of the people we work with here at Funeral Funds are on a fixed or limited income. And sometimes that gets expensive for them. And then they look at that and they go, well, if I can't do $50,000, I'm not doing anything at all. And now the only thing they've done is they've just made sure that their family's going to have to pay this for them at the worst time possible. So don't be kind of stubborn that way. If you need to just get what you can afford, we can always help you add more coverage later. And you might, by all means, if you've got the financial means to get more insurance, we can certainly help you out with that. But we're just trying to be really respectful of people's budgets. Now, one thing that we always recommend is first day coverage or benefits. That is so important. We do not recommend those plans that have 2-year waiting periods. We'll talk about that in a moment. But what first day coverage means is it means that hypothetically, if your plan were approved and issued today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to pay that death benefit of $5,000 or $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever that would be. They would have to pay for it. It's the best coverage and it's the lowest pricing. Now, a lot of people would say, well, yeah, I like that first day coverage, but, I've got some health issues and, I know they ask health questions and I'm not sure if I'm going to qualify. And we just tell people that's our responsibility, not yours, at least from an insurance standpoint. But that's why we work with so many different insurance companies, that they all have different health questions and they all have different underwriting. And 90 to 95% of the time, we're getting people first day coverage or benefits. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage is if you had some really significant health issues going on. Like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to pass away in the next 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or in a hospital, or in a nursing home. If that were the case, then we would probably refer you out to a different insurance company. Now, one thing that also seems to happen every week is we get somebody that will call up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week, and they didn't have insurance, and we don't have any money, and their body's at the funeral home, and the funeral director is not going to do anything till he gets the check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get the money so we can pay the funeral home director. And we have to let them know that there is no insurance company in the United States that's going to issue a policy on somebody who's already dead. You can't get a policy on somebody who's already died. You have to be alive to get this insurance. And it's really tragic that the person died and didn't have this insurance. They knew they were going to die someday, and they were probably going to get this insurance at some point, but they just keep putting it off and putting it off. And now that they've passed away, now their family members and loved ones are going to have to pay for this. And typically people just put that on credit cards, and then they're going to have to pay 26% interest. And a lot of times it takes years and years and years to pay this off. And it's a terrible legacy to leave behind when it could have been prevented. So get this insurance sooner than later. If you can't afford a lot, get what you can afford. We can always get you more coverage later. But yeah, just don't leave that terrible legacy behind. Just get this insurance and take care of your loved ones. So one thing we don't recommend is those 2-year waiting period plans. And Colonial Penn, they're probably one of the more well-known companies out there, I guess. I think it's just because they advertise so much on TV. I think they've got commercials playing almost every 7 minutes or something like that. Sure seems like they play a lot of them. But yeah, Colonial Penn, their $9.95 plan is a 2-year waiting period plan. Yuck, right? Yuck, yeah. So, and what that means is they're not going to pay out any life insurance death benefit if you pass away of any health or medical reason in the first 2 years. Not what you want for a policy. But, Colonial Penn's not the only one. There's other companies out there, Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber. And there's just a host of other ones out there too, that the only thing they offer is a plan with a 2-year waiting period. And some of these companies out there have done an incredible job at convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period. To which we always say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Yes, we do. So yeah, but you look at our 58-year-old female, and she's probably watching one of those $9.95 commercials, and she's probably thinking, I'm a smarty pants. I waited until age 58. I'm probably going to get a lot of coverage for $9.95. You know what? I bet I'm going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, probably even $50,000 for $9.95. And then she talks with a Colonial Penn agent or goes on their website like we've done here for you and sees that a 58-year-old female, 1 unit of coverage is $9.95, and that's only going to provide $1,620 worth of insurance benefits. And That's probably enough to pay for a cremation in a lot of parts of the country, except for one thing. This policy has a 2-year waiting period. It's not going to pay out in the next 2 years if you die of any health or medical reason, and it will be worth less in 2 years than it is today just due to inflation. So we don't recommend starting out at a plan that's going to put you so far behind in so many areas. And a lot of people would say that these companies that offer teaser rates, really low rates that sound too good to be true, because they typically are, they would say that most of those companies advertise those super low rates not to sell you that plan, but actually just to get your information into their system and then upsell you on a more expensive and more profitable coverage amount. Now, we're not saying that's what Colonial Penn is doing, but you may want to make that judgment on your own. Let's take a look here. We want to get around $5,000 worth of coverage with Colonial Penn. You cannot get $5,000 worth of coverage on the nose for a 58-year-old female because they sell by unit, not by coverage amount. That's how they get that $9.95 per unit thing. Sneaky. Let's take a look here. 3 units is $48.46. Yeah, geez, 4 units is $64.80. So there's no kind of happy medium. We're just gonna have to go with 3 units since that's kind of close, but it's still not $5,000. But that's around $30 a month. I don't know. Is that a good price? Let's find out. Let's look at first day coverage. So we've got $5,000 for a female age 58 right here. We're going to click get quotes and then go back and look at this again. That's not even $5,000, it's $30. And we can get first day coverage. That's what the level means over here. Level means first day coverage. We can help you with this company. They're a great company. We work with them. But that's $16. So you've got to understand, if this were $5,000, it would be more than the $29.85. And $16 is times 2 is 32. But I'm guessing, just basic math, that Colonial Penn is right at about 200% more expensive. 200% more expensive than first day coverage. And they're going to sock you with the 2-year waiting period plan. And you're overpaying about $15 a month. And you're going to overpay that $15 a month for the rest of your life every month that your policy's in force. So $15 a month roughly is around $180 a year. If you live 10 years, or for our female, 58 lives to age 68, that is going to be right around $1,800 more that you would pay. So maybe that's not a lot of money to you. That is a lot of money to a lot of folks, including myself. There's no way I would overpay that. So yeah, be a smart consumer. And if you're not a smart consumer, just hang around us and we'll make you a smart consumer. But let's take a look. Let's look at some other companies here. You'll be able to see all these different companies here. Here we go. Oh, here's one, like Lincoln Heritage. They're an interesting company. I guess they're fine company, I guess. But look at their pricing. That pricing is quite a bit higher. It is level coverage. But yeah, they've got a deal where if you are, when you pass away, that supposedly they will call 2-3 different funeral homes to get the lowest pricing. Maybe do a couple other things as well. But it's not a free service. They charge for it, and it's a higher premium, and you pay for that. And we don't recommend overpaying on insurance, but that's 23 to 16. So that's about $6 a month. Actually, no, that's $7-ish. It's about $7 more a month. So times 12 months, that's $84 for 12 months that you'd be overpaying. And after 10 years, you will have overpaid right around $840. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but you just ask yourself, is it worth paying an insurance company $840 to call 2 or 3 funeral homes and maybe do a couple of other things that only takes an hour or so to do? Even at $840, that's a pretty good payday for the insurance company. We don't recommend paying an insurance company more than you have to. So what we recommend, get the lesser coverage. And then what we do is we provide a funeral and estate planning guide. That's free. You can download that off our website and print it out. And then once it's printed out, you can complete it. And you just simply write in who gets what and what goes where and what you want done after you're gone. And then when you're done with that, you keep it with your insurance policy. And now when you pass away, your family members can go pick both those documents up, and they will know that they are both financially protected with the insurance policy, but emotionally protected with the funeral and estate planning guide, because they don't have to worry about anything. All they have to do is read what you wrote and just execute your wishes, and they will do everything knowing that that's exactly what you wanted done after you're gone, and you provided the funds to do it. And what a blessing to leave behind to them. What peace of mind they will have. But they will also know the true gift of love that you left behind for them, that you not only protected them in life, but also in death. And that's when they were going to need you perhaps the most, is when you were gone and you're still protecting them. So what a wonderful legacy to leave behind. Go to our website. We've got a free quarter specifically for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And if you go there, we have, you can get all the discounts and the best rates on that quarter. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you out. But if you've got an existing policy that you want to price shop to see if you can get a better pricing, or just need to add coverage to that, we can help you out with that. If you're looking for a brand new policy, or just have questions about what might be best for you or what you might qualify for, we can help you out with that. But we really look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We're looking forward to helping you with that. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, and you have a nice day. Bye-bye.